Hello everyone. In our last video, we had asked you what topics do you want to see in the next video, and a lot of you had asked us for Fisher transform based strategies. So let's explore this indicator and see how you can replicate this indicator on Tradetron. So I have the chart opened for the Fisher transform. You can see I have a Bank Nifty spot chart and I have overlaid the Fisher indicator below it. So you can see there are two different lines for the Fisher. One is the Fisher transform line and the other is the Fisher trigger line. The blue one is the Fisher transform and the orange one is the Fisher trigger line. Now, what a lot of people do is that they take trades based on these kind of crossovers. So whenever there is something like this, there's a crossover out here of the blue line. The blue line basically crosses above the orange line. In that case, they will take a long trade, and once the blue line crosses below the orange line, they will treat it as a short side trade. So this is how they people can capture a significant directional move on the market. So we will be building a strategy where we will take a trade based on a long crossover that you can see out here like this. A long crossover, we will buy an option, and when there is a short crossover, we will square off that option. So let's explore how do we build it on Tradetron. So I have my strategy ready. In my entry condition, you can see I have put a simple time greater than 920 condition and a position detail condition, just to make sure that if there is an open position, it shouldn't take a trade in the same. So all open positions should first be squared off. Only then there is the next position can be taken. Now, in order to fetch my Fisher indicator, I will first use the position keyword. So as for any indicator, we first select position keyword, and within the same we will select Fisher. So you can see there's one keyword called Fisher transform. Now I'll select my Fisher transform, but you might have noticed that there's only one line, right? I mean, when you select the Fisher transform, there's only one line. But in this indicator there are two lines. So how do we fetch the second line? So the Fisher transform that you see out here on Tradetron is basically your blue colored Fisher line, and the trigger line that you see, the orange color line that you see, is basically the same Fisher line but only for the previous candle. So when you see this trigger is nothing but the previous candle's Fisher calculation. So by knowing this information now, we can build our crossover condition by modifying the position keywords position. So if we select -1, we will basically get this the Fisher value of the blue line. So I'll select -1. I'll select my symbol as 15 minutes, and I will select my instrument name as NFO and Nifty Bank, and I'll leave everything else blank so that it becomes a spot based condition check. Now I will want to check for a long crossover. So I will check if my -1 is greater than, so it is basically crossing above my position. So I'll just copy the same keyword and I will paste it. So now I need this line, the orange line. As we have earlier mentioned, that the trigger line is nothing but the Fisher transform of the minus of the before candle, the candle before it. So since we are checking for -1, in this one we'll check for -2. So it will give us the position of the orange color trigger line. So now that we have this set up, I'll just add a new condition. And now I want a crossover. I don't just want to check if one is greater than the above. I also want a crossover. So for the crossover, I will now again select my position -2 candle, and I'll select if this is less than Fisher transform of -3 candle. So it may be a little difficult to wrap your head around it, but this is how you're supposed to use a Fisher crossover related condition. So this will basically generate a trigger for this kind of a long crossover. All right. So I'll just submit this, and our Fisher entry condition is ready. So I'll just show you how to add the position builder. I'll select NFO, call, underlying Nifty, bank, current month, and I'll select one lot. So I will add my position. Now I'll add my condition for the second set. So again, I have my conditions already ready. I'll just copy this and I will paste this out here. So now I will build my conditions for my set 2. Now, since this is a long crossover and I want to look at a short crossover that you are seeing out here, something like this, a short crossover. In that case, all I need to do is I need to invert the signs. By inverting the signs, I will get my condition for a short crossover. So previously what was greater than is now changed to less than. So now that I have inverted the signs, my conditions have become inverted. So now it will check for a short crossover. So now whenever there is a short crossover, it will buy an ATM put of the Bank Nifty current month expiry. Um, so I will now add the exit conditions. The exit conditions out here will be if there is if I've taken a trade for a long for if I've taken a long trade, and based on this, and if there's a short crossover, I will want to exit. So again, I know that in my entry condition for my set 2 I have used a short crossover, so I'll just copy it and I will paste it out here. And now I will edit it and I will remove all the unwanted conditions. So as you can see, I have my short crossover logic built, and I will paste this and I'll close this. And now in case of my set 2, I enter based on a short crossover, and if there is a long crossover, I will exit. So I'll simply copy and I will paste my set 1 conditions, and I will remove the irrelevant part and I will submit this and I close it. And now you can see my universal exit is a simple time greater than 315 condition. If my target or stop loss nothing is achieved, it will exit for that day. And I will update the strategy. So this is how you can build a strategy based on Fisher transform. If you have any queries or if you have any suggestions on topics that we should cover, it could be simple strategies, difficult strategies, you can just hit it down in the comment section and we would be happy to take it up in future videos. Thank you very much.